We got to understand here the educational program that you have to be able to figure out whether it will go on the right lines where the people will end up in a situation where they can be able to really control themselves. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, the people that take this local foundation start stealing money because they won't be really educated to why it's the people's thing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, it's so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionalist movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more. And before you know it, they'll be capitalists. And before you know it, we'll have Negro imperialists.
This educational process is necessary, and it's the people that will cause the revolution, and it's the people that will cause the change in the country. It's simply the vanguard of the revolution, and we plan to teach the people the strategy and the necessary tools to liberate themselves.
Revolutionary constructive criticism. It is not to put one down based on personal value. It is not to critique someone just because, tell you where you're doing wrong, how you did it wrong, but it enlightens you to the path to take to prevent this measure from happening again. And it also gives you an insight to tell you why this error happened. It's not to put you down. If anything, it's to build you up, to make you better. Revolutionary constructive criticism is not based on pettiness. It is not based on personalities. Revolutionary criticism, as I said, is not based on personality. It does not allow any form of elitism. It is the basis of combating liberalism, but again, it is to save one from being a reactionary and putting them on the right course to freedom.
The importance in receiving revolutionary constructive criticism, like Brother Nehemiah just said, is not to demean or belittle anyone, but really to build us up, to make us stronger, to strengthen our revolutionary presence and what we're able to be impactful with. It requires that we remove ego and pride and emotion to be able to really be self-critical and being able to review and go over our organization, our program, our initiative. If it's not progressive, someone with more expertise in that particular area may be able to offer you some constructive criticism. Maybe someone who's been there, done that before, lived a little bit more life, what have you, may be able to offer you constructive criticism. And so we just have to remain self-critical and be able to take that and be able to go back to the drawing board or move out of the way sometimes and let someone else take the lead. And when we're self-critical, I want to make sure that I say that self-critical with correction. Because a lot of times people will be self-critical all day long. I'm self-critical. Also, yep, I messed up. Yep, I did that wrong. But don't make any effort to actually make the correction as well. So if you practice being able to receive revolutionary constructive criticism, you also can make that correction. And sometimes that does take practice. Sometimes we do have to swallow, so to speak, take a hard swallow and be able to take that maybe we didn't have the best way of doing something and have to be able to heed to advice because it's for the benefit of the whole. It's for the benefit of the movement, of the initiative, of the program that's being practiced. It's not an individual thing. It's something that's going to impact more than just you. So if you can get out of your own way and receive constructive criticism, a lot of times it'll put you and whatever it is you're working on a better path to success.
Activist, reactionary, emotionalist. This is the pop-up activist. This is impromptu. This is one who gets on the scene, whether it be for grandstanding or whether they may believe they're doing something for a good cause. Again, it's impromptu. It's not planned out. It's based on one's emotions. It's based on one just having the feeling that something must be done. But the something that must be done, again, is not articulated. It's not strategic. And sometimes with this, more oftentimes with this activist, reactionary emotionalism, this activist turns into an emotional pet for whoever is grieving. And through this service of being this emotional pet, due to the reactionary nature, they use this cause as a way to pull in funds with the promotion of whatever this cause is. They're using this to get members. And furthermore, it's risky. As Comrade spoken before, just wanting to do something, going out there, it's not planned, and a lot of grandstanding. If you don't know where you're going, the background of that place, the setting, you have not done the investigation. As he said, when the media puts this out and gets everyone talking, you may not know if it's only media produced. If you have not had contact with people on the ground, you may just be walking into a trap, or you may be bringing your people and entrapping them, literally entrapment. The activist, reactionary emotionalism is usually one who is not going out well-versed or well-studied. It's just based on the emotion. It is the popcorn revolutionist. It's the pop-up revolution. And I yield.
As I add on a little bit more to the activist, reactionary, emotionalist, we've seen these people many times before in the movement. They take on these cases. They use their organization for the tragic event. Once again, they put their names on the flyers. They put everything on these flyers. And even worse, what these people do, not caring about the family and the ones actually involved, they do their own initiative and go against the family's wishes. They go against the community's wishes. And by default, during this activist, reactionary emotionalism, they become enemies of the people. They become enemies of the very event that they attend.
So when I saw this, it made me want to break down these words as well. So we know an activist is someone who campaigns to bring about political or social change, right? A reactionary is a person not armed with a party line or a politic or ideology and rather they act on emotion or impulse. And when you're emotional, you tend to be emotional. You tend to show or experience emotions quickly and easily, like a lack of control of emotions. So I think we've all seen this out, in our communities. And unfortunately, on very, I guess, mass media platforms, probably quite often, those are the ones that are prompted as our so-called leaders. They're the ones that speak for us, right, on CNN and such, right? When I saw the word activist and I think about being reactionary and emotional, I think more of an actorvist. An activist is real. An actor is not. Recently, me and the comrade actually just spoke about a Tupac interview that I seen where he talked about being a role model versus being a real model. And the reason why he said that is, like a role model, I have to play a role. I have to be something I'm really not, or I have to say something I really don't believe in. But if I'm just real and I'm just who I am, and I just speak what I know, and which is the truth of what I've been taught, then I could be real, and I don't have to play any role. So I think a true activist is just that real person that has passion for standing up for the community, for fighting for the community, and there's various reasons why we get involved with the work. But I think that the activist has a true passion and a true commitment to the community, and they are able to throw out ignorance and arrogance, and they're able to control their emotions so that they don't end up, as you just said, comrade, being the enemy of people due to being reactionary and emotional, because ultimately that's dangerous. And we have to be able to identify some of these people, and hopefully maybe through revolutionary constructive criticism they could be turned around, but not if they're the opportunists that we talked about earlier, not if they're profiting off the pain of the people, not if they're actively exploiting the community or the people.
Event junkie. This goes more than one way. One event junkie is one who comes to the events. They could be one who is in the process of re-Africanization, or they could be one who's just regular dressed. But as they come to these events, they're also engaged in intellectual masturbation. They bring all the quotes, they have all the books, they have all the history, but when it's time to do the work, they don't want to organize. When it's time to do the work, they're not there. They give criticisms, but they believe themselves to be above criticisms. As Khaled would say, you have everything on the wall, but nothing on the ball. The ball meaning the earth. He said this event junkie would be one who has all the books, have all the art, have all the Igbadas, the tonics, have the mud claw, have the grand poobahs, etc., etc. But when it's time to aid a revolutionary cause, they show the complete opposite. They don't help. They don't engage. Even as little as growing a plant, they do not do. They come to the events and portray themselves to be something they're not. When asking them to engage and organize and fellowship with others, they go and say that they have something important that's top secret, that's severely and really underground, that only a special elect could come. But we know that that's a violation of security code if you do engage in that. When asking them to help your group, help organize, they come, but they do not engage in organizing, learning political education. They say that you're a revolutionary. They boost your head up and give you all of these comments to boost your mind, to say who's the realest organization, to say who's the fake organization. They go on and on and on and on. But again, when it's time to do work, they have not done it. They won't do it. They go and they give all of the advice and are above criticism. They down others, but they're not giving revolutionary constructive criticism. They're not telling you where you went wrong and then giving you a solution. It's just constant downs. Now the other event junkie, this is one who all they do is establish events. The events are around hot topics. The events are just like what was said before, sometimes, usually more so, activist, reactionary emotionalism. The event will go on for hours. You hear all kind of demonology, all kind of diatribes, of fire hose, of soothsayings, words that you can relate to that you've heard before, all the quotes. But again, it's intellectual masturbation. You're in your seat, you're feeling good, you're around your people. They ask for loads of money for their organization about this great work they're doing. And then they leave. And you don't see them again or see that program. All you see is another event. You don't hear you hear what program they're doing, but you don't ever see it. All you hear is donate here, give here, we're doing this here. And whenever they are doing something and they tell you to go there, it's baseless. It's not based on the program, it's based on the show. It's almost like a revival traveling preacher. You see a show, you give your money, you feel good, rinse, wash, repeat. And I yield.